Hello and welcome to the Arena Sports Show. My name is Clauiee Grace Mpanza. Absolutely excited to bring you yet another episode of the Arena Sports Show. Well, it is almost the time of the year, right? We're preparing for the festive season. So we decided to do something a little bit intimate today. So I guess it's an intimate family dinner that we are welcoming you to. I have, of course, my favorite influencer, Mahlatse Mphahlele, joining us today. Influencer, how you doing? How is Bloom? Listen, you are buzzing. If someone looks like they got it all, Mahlatse Mphahlele does.
Yeah, Bloom was good. Got there on Friday, came back on Sunday. In between, obviously, the highlight was the football match. The other thing that I did while I was there, I managed to speak to Jimmy Augusto and David Modise. Jimmy Augusto is a former Celtic owner. David Modise, I mean, as people would know, is a former Celtic and Chiefs legend. So I said, no, since I'm in town, let me grab them for interviews for the other show, you know. So it was good. The football was good. I was a bit worried before the match started. The stadium was pretty much empty, but people came through, and Bloom hardly disappoints when it comes to the crowd. And with regards to the match,
we'll talk
they
about
said
that.
They said it was Clinton Pro Max.
I'm glad you know about the Pro Max. But I mean, influencer, when we talk about, of course, a weekend like that, especially calling, I mean, you look at now what I want to find out from you, and I guess this is something that all aligns all of us, where be it you're a sports head or not. Love stories, right? What's your favorite love story? I know I'm throwing you off the cuff here, but I'd like to know what excites you in terms of love stories.
Yeah, you like putting me on the spot. Yeah, I'm not a love romantic guy. I'm a G. I'm an old G. I'm a gangster.
West side.
Yeah, love stories. I don't follow much love. Even if you want to watch movies generally, I'll lean more towards the action kind of stuff, but not like, you know, Van Damme. No, but nice action. You know, romantic stories, not quite.
Not quite?
You know, but at my best of times, I can be romantic, but, you know, not too hectic.
Not too hectic.
Flowers, nyana, and, you know, that's all, yeah.
Oh, that's where it stops? All right. The reason I ask this is because when you look into the Carling knockout, I mean, it really truly has been a love story. You look at the previous season with Steve Barker winning it with Stellenbosch, and I mean, a coach has done so well in South African football, and we praised him. This year around, this season, the story continues. Another love story where a man has been knocking, played and coached, of course, in all the ranks in South African football, Clinton Larsen. So we have that element of love in football, Mahlatse Mphahlele, and I guess that's where we connect. That's where we find our love in our sports. This time around, being football. Talk to us about that love story for Clinton Larsen.
Yeah, it was good. Clinton is one of the good guys of our football. I mean, a lot of people may not know, or the younger guys, that he was actually a very handy, good footballer. One of the highlights was playing for Pirates. He played for Pirates for a few seasons, a very good midfielder. And he's one of those coaches who went through, like, he started from the bottom all the way up to the PSL. And he has been coached at every level of our football. He was doing this for the second time against Sundowns. He beat Sundowns in the then Telkom knockout 12 years ago. And he did again. You know, it shows that he's a, you know, even with a small team like Magesi, I mean, there were no hoopers going to that final.
Yeah.
But it shows that if players are motivated, you can turn up at a big stage and really do well. I'm told the whole of Limpopo today, being a Tuesday, is coming to a standstill with the trophy tour, which is nice for the players. I just hope they don't get too much sucked into this whole thing of celebrations. Maybe the players must, you know, not get too much into that kind of celebration thing, because they've got to go back to training and really prepare for the season. And they are marked people now. The focus is going to be a little bit on them. They will be the team to beat now going forward. And in the league, they haven't really started the season that well. They're in the middle of the table. They've dropped lots of points. But hopefully they can take this momentum from the cup into the league and really get the season going. It will be sad to see winning a cup and then struggling, fighting for relegation down the season. But good for Coach Clinton.
For sure.
The other person that I spoke to after the match was Pabizo Twandas, the coach. The strange thing about Ginger is that he played football for more than almost 15 years as a player. He never got into a final. He gets into a final with Magesi as a coach. and then he wins it. I saw him after the match, and he was a little bit emotional.
Yeah.
And nice on him. Also a good guy who
For sure.
you can't help but be happy for people like that, and Jekile Dwaba and the rest of the people there.
Yeah.
So good for them. I think they must enjoy, but not too much. Focus back
just a
again
bit caution.
into the league now. The bread and butter, as they say.
It definitely is. Sorry, upon us as well. Quickly, you touch on Limpopo, right? And I think most of the time when you think South African football, the hub really has been Gauteng, where you've got your big teams here. But you look into the growth in Limpopo and the teams that are there, more numbers coming from that province, which is also good for South African football. I mean, we do know that Marumo Gallants as well recently appointed Molefi as the technical director. So there is growth, and you see that there is, of course, the desire to also want to just progress. Talk to us about that region, really, and their footballing passion.
Limpopo has got a rich history in South African football. I think if you check across the years, some of the best players in South Africa come from that area.
They are the original North Gods, by the way.
Yeah,
it's not here.
And one thing that when we were at AFCON, it dawned on me that there were about 6 players in that Bafana squad who were born in Limpopo. And key players for that team. So it's an area which has always produced great players. You think about Mahlatse Mphahlele, and there's so many. And I think it's good. Baroka won the Telkom knockout some years ago. Now Magesi, and so there's been good stuff coming out of the program. I think maybe to a large extent, what I've also felt over the years was that maybe the teams don't work well together. I think if they work well together, they can come up with something there. You remember in the olden days, Dynamos was a big club from the Black Leopards. If you go back, Real Rovers, Ria Stars, and all those kinds of teams. So it's an area which has always been there and about. It will be nice to see a team from the province winning the league into the future. But I think with Magesi, they are very good, and they've got a few teams in NFD. Yeah. So I think they've done well for themselves, and we hope that this Magesi spirit continues. And maybe people must come to the stadium, because most of the times, either at the old Peter Mokaba or the new Peter Mokaba stadium, most of the matches, except when Chiefs are playing, is also the turnout is not good. But I'm happy for Magesi, really. It's good for the underdog sometimes to come through and humble the favorite,
You definitely all love David, right? The David and Goliath battle. But I mean, with that note, we also do know that a lot has been happening in the world of sport. I mean, trying to keep up this weekend was absolutely difficult. One wished that they had multiple screens. So let's quickly find out, of course, what's been happening in your top stories, and then we'll continue the conversation in terms of course, then the Carling knockout, and then also looking into, of course, the Springboks as well, who have done absolutely well in the 2024 season. But for now, here are your top stories.
Kaizer Chiefs coach Nabi has said they benefited from the recent FIFA break, suggesting that a few of his French players got opportunities to impress him. Springboks forward Peter Steph-Ledoux has become only the 4th male player to win the Rugby Player of the Year award more than once. Magesi FC coach Larsen ranks winning the Carling knockout at the expense of star-starter Mamelodi Sundowns as one of his best achievements in his coaching career that spans more than 2 decades.
Star of the week, a favorite feature of mine, but always a big headache, especially when you have to choose one. And we always have this battle of trying to choose just one person who's impressed you. Yeah. I know we struggle here on this show. I don't know about you, but influencer in the past few days, who has impressed you?
Yeah, I guess it will be criminal if I don't mention Magesi. I think we have spoken enough about them.
Yeah.
The Gen Killers, going rocked up at Bloemfontein and put soil in the din of Sundowns. That's obvious. Also, the Springboks. Sure. I think they had a near perfect season. They did well, and I think the sort of the nice garnish for the Springboks was Peter Steph-Ledoux winning the Rugby Player of the Year. I think the Springboks and and Magesi are the 2 players of the week. With you, I think I can take a guess. I don't know if you've got 2 or what, but if you have got 2-1, must be motor racing. I know. But
listen, I'm taking on your role here. Like I was struggling to pick just one, but you're right. It is in motorsports. It's in Formula One to be specific. I mean, we'll start with, I think, the obvious one, 4-time world champion now, Max Verstappen, who was crowned in Las Vegas on Sunday. Absolutely pure brilliance, Mahlatse Mphahlele, especially.
And I must say, I'm watching more and more of motorsports because of you, you know.
I love it.
And I believe I've got tickets for you for this weekend.
Listen, 9 hours of Kyalami this weekend, the 30th of November. Please don't miss it. It's going to be absolutely incredible.
I don't do extra strong, eh? So
no, listen, I respect you. Like, I know you. I don't call you influencer for a reason. Influencers must have influential tickets. So I get it. So make sure that you join us as well there. It's actually going to be a proper jump. But Max Verstappen, I mean, with the season that he's had, I think we've spoken about him. Keegan Masters also spoke about him when he was here. So we could go long and long about Max, but he's done absolutely well, and a big congratulations to him. But someone else on the flip side, Sir Lewis Hamilton. I mean, 7-time world champion. This year has been horrendous for Lewis Hamilton, to say the least. But to see him, of course, being within the podium, starting from 10th, where it was absolutely difficult. He pitted in the first, of course, pit stop, and then he changed and he went all the way back. He was upset after losing so many places, but he gained, of course, he places back to finish P2. So absolutely great, of course, to see Lewis Hamilton doing well. A few more races to go now. I think just 2 more just to wrap up the year, and then all eyes are on 2025. Now we want to see what the prancing horse, Ferrari, what they're going to do between Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. So Formula One, motorsports in a very good space right now. But I mean, talking about good spaces, you look into, you touched on Magesi earlier on, saying that they need to make sure that in the league as well, they need to continue their performance. But when you're listening to Coach Clinton Larsen and Albus Chipazeza saying that, you know, the thing now is that the league is watching, so the rest of the teams are watching us, so now they're going to figure us out, and they know how to deal with us. So now, how do, as a Magesi team, because yes, you can have the fighting spirit, but also the strategy needs to change, because the games will be different teams will be bringing different strategies and trying to contain especially that counter-attack from the Magesi side.
Yeah, I think in the situation that they are in now, obviously the coaching staff is experienced there. I mean, you mentioned Coach Clinton, Coach Papi Zotwani, Jegile Dwaba. They're experienced people who have been around football for a very, very long time. So from their end, they will know what needs to happen. They will know that this thing does not need to go to the players' head. But the most important thing now becomes the players themselves. And in a team environment, you really need to have a strong leadership group. The senior guys who can say to the guys, you know, we have to really relax now, and really focus on what we have to do. As I said earlier on, there's going to be a lot of festivities around them and all these things, but they still have to have time to go to training, because that's what they do as footballers, you know. So if you don't have a strong leadership group, younger players get carried away quite a lot. I'm not saying that's what they will do, but you know, you might find that maybe too much celebrating, sleeping late and drinking and that kind of thing. That may be a big problem for them. The season is on now, you know, so if you do things off the pitch which may undermine what was gained during prison in terms of fitness, you will find yourself in a serious problem. So I guess it's going to be important from the technical team to guide, and also for the senior players around the team to help the players. Chipazeza is one of those guys. I think if Timutupa is there, there's a 1 or 2 other players with experience who probably Mzava has been there also. I mean, was part of the team that was with Coach Clinton when they beat Sundowns 12 years ago. So there's a little bit of experience, calm heads. Forget about this thing and look forward now, because as we've mentioned before, it will be sad to see them fighting for relegation. For sure. Having won the cup, you know, so it happens quite often.
It has happened before. We've seen it.
You know, those things happen, but you know, we'll see what happens.
We definitely will. So now when you flip it and you look into Mamelodi Sundowns, I mean, a star-studded team, and you heard also Coach Mangoba Mngiti not really too pleased about the result, where at some point saying that I don't understand why Clauiee Mpanza was off position, but at the same time I'm not blaming him, you know. So there's a bit of frustration as well, and I mean it worked according to Magesi's game plan when you look into it, because they wanted Clauiee and Aubrey Modiba to go wide because they don't really play central, so it worked out for Magesi, but unfortunate for Sundowns. But when you look into now the league, you talk about the league for Magesi. What about Mamelodi Sundowns? Now Orlando Pirates and the rest of the teams in the Betway Premiership are looking into this and saying, hey, we might have a chance here, and the league might not go to Clock.
Yeah, it might not go. If Pirates continues at the rate they are, they will really give Sundowns a run for their money. And then you'll have disturbances there from Stellenbosch and SuperSport, and you know, so there are teams that will always be bubbling under there, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the log. So it's definitely not going to be an easy thing for Sundowns this season. And I think also the key thing for Sundowns is that they've changed their style of play considerably. The Sundowns of Coach Pitso and Dulani, completely different. Someone was saying they're playing Gautrain football. They're moving very fast.
For sure.
Yesterday the coach did speak about that. Where he was asked a question to say, but you know, will this thing really be sustainable in the league? And then he said, yeah, no, that's what they're trying to do. And also the issue of changing players at every game. Coach Mangoba at every given match, he made close to 6, 7 changes. And he's steadfast on that thing, because he says he wants to keep the players fresh. And I look at that and I look at Pirates when it comes to Champions League. I don't know what is the plan for the Pirates coach Rivero.
For sure.
He has played the same team right through. Is that sustainable?
But you know what I find interesting, Mahlatse, is that 2 seasons back, that was a problem for a lot of people, that he was changing the squad a lot. But now he's found his core. So now what happens? Do you still want those changes, and where are those changes?
Yeah, you need to find the right balance, especially when you're playing the Champions League. Where there's going to be a lot of traveling, a lot of players not being at home most of the times. Having fresher players works, but obviously it's not a guarantee for success. So you need to find a balance. Even for Sundowns, you can rest the players all you want. They rested the players and then they went to lose in the final. So it's those fine margins that happens at elite sports, where sometimes also it's just a matter of luck. It's a matter of rising to the occasion on the day when it matters the most. Sundowns, I felt on Saturday, they should have wrapped up that match in the first half. They were so dominant. I mean, I was sitting next to somebody. I was saying to them, I'll be interested to find out what is the ball possession here, because they were pretty much camping in the half of Magesi, but they didn't score the goals or enough goals. So when you have a team under the pump like that, you must finish them off, and they didn't do that. In the Champions League, stuff like that, you get really punished. So it's going to be interesting as to how the season progresses. They are playing against this Maniama team to start the campaign of the Champions League. It's a small team from DRC Congo. They should beat them. But then
I think that's what we said about Magesi.
It gets tougher as you go along. For Pirates, also it's the same thing in the Champions League. So I think the what is of interest for me for Sundowns is how if they can get this thing off their time to play now. Because also one thing I've noticed is that Aubrey Modiba normally sometimes you can see he's a little bit confused. He doesn't know what to do. Does he go or does he cut it? Now also sometimes, but it's a new system which they will have to get used to.
But you know what my thing with that influencer is, that sometimes you need what I believe is, as a player, make the decision yourself. Because as much as the coach can say, this is our plan, but if you see that this is not working right now, because I saw with Ribeiro, he tried that. There were points where he was like, okay, let me try something and maybe it will work. And there were glimpses where, okay, he was giving us something, and then when he went back to position, now it was different. So I think sometimes also players need to trust their instincts and actually think, okay, no, I can go ahead with that.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes if it's something which has worked before, why not? But then again, There's a new coach, there's a new system.
You might be benched.
You know. I mean, you know what happened a few weeks ago. People spent 5 days outside of the team.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's a complex, man. It's a very complex, difficult thing that the players need to navigate around. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Pirates are looking good, but the only thing about Pirates.
But before we get to Pirates, Mangoba Mngqithi, are you keeping him?
Pressure.
Yeah, because the pressure is there, and a lot of people are saying change, but change to who is my question. And also, this is someone that's been with the club for so long. I mean, give him a chance, right? A season is a fair chance, in my opinion. How do you see it?
The other thing which I find interesting is that, I mean, since they lost to Stellenbosch, those 2 matches, Sundowns went, 6 matches without winning? Well, including that small team from Swaziland, from Eswatini.
Yeah.
They went 6 matches winning. You know, and this new system was working.
Yeah.
I guess it's always with anything. If it works, you look like a genius. Yes. And if it doesn't work, you look like a complete fool. Yeah. But I mean, no. So, and the coach, if you listen to him all the time when he speaks, he steadfast. This is what he's going to do. Yeah. The system is going to stay, and he's going to keep on rotating the players. So let's see how it goes for them. It's quite, the Sundowns fans are not happy, I know, but
in your opinion, you're keeping him, he stays long?
You know, and also, I think if you get rid of him now, who's going to come?
Yeah.
The team. If you're going to get an European person coming here, they may take a while to get used to this. And also the coach is saying that they really want to make quite a big thing in the Champions League. They haven't won the Champions League since 2016. They've been to 2 semi-finals over the last 2 seasons. So he says the Champions League is the bread and butter. That's where they're going, you know. So that's the level that they're operating at the Club Cup.
And I think it only makes sense with that star-studded team. But I mean, you mentioned Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
Talk to us about them. I mean, they also have a busy week ahead. Yes, it's Champions League this week, and then they host Stellenbosch over the weekend. So now that rotation that you speak of, you know, it's going to be very key. And also the inexperience of course, some of the players who have not played CAF Champions League is also going to be quite crucial as to how do they manage themselves, and of course, playing outside South Africa.
Yeah, I was speaking to a BJL recently, and he said that when they last went to a Confed Cup final, I think they lost to Barkan, 2-3 years ago.
I remember that season,
He said their team was not the most experienced team in terms of continental football, but they went, obviously it was not the Champions League, it was the Smolanyana Confed Cup.
Of course.
But, you know, when you get to the knockout stages of the Confed Cup, you'll find strong teams there. Barkan is one of them. So he sort of made the argument that though it's important to have experienced players, players who have been there, they know what to expect. But even with largely inexperienced players, you can make an impact.
Sure.
The good thing is the preparation behind the scenes from coaches, how players are training, how players are traveling, the spirit in the camp. If the camp is a good camp, everybody's happy. You always have a chance. But if there's disruptions and all these sort of things, even if you've got experience, you don't have a chance. You know, and I saw there was a clip of the Pirates coach and Innocent Mahela yesterday. They look good. They'll learn as they go along. And it's not going to be easy. Champions League, I keep on saying this, Champions League is very tough.
Yeah.
If you go and look at the people who have won the Champions League over the last 10 years, only 2 teams won it twice in a row.
Yeah, so that's...
It's very, very difficult. It's a tough tournament.
Yeah.
And, you know, you really need to know your stuff if you go there, because it's tough. I'm saying... I'm waiting for Al-Ahly in a few weeks' time.
You're terrible. But
and
you know
Orlando.
what? You know what?
That's going to be the real test.
That's going to be... It
really is. If you can compete
is.
against those guys, now you know.
But you know what I like, though, about Jose Rivera is, of course, him taking counsel from other people. I mean, we've seen him as well in some of the press conferences that we attend, you know, having conversations with different coaches. So I think also that's going to help, of course, Orlando Pirates going forward. But when you look into Mamelodi Sundowns that we spoke to, let's quickly find out what Coach Mangoba Mngqithi has to say, of course, after, unfortunately, not winning the Carling knockout.
You will never really know whether you've managed to get their minds where you want them to be. But from what I've seen, I think the team is back. I think everybody is aware of the challenges that we've been through, more especially with our internationals, because I think that was also a big factor in the game that we played over the weekend, because we couldn't change the team that we know can make us win the match, but at the back of our minds, we also knew we had a lot of players that had played 290s in a short space of time, and that had an effect in the latter stages of the game, which is why we also had to make some changes. But I think the team is looking good. The only thing that might be important is to make sure that the team is fresh, because we can't make any legitimate excuse. We have to try to win matches and not make excuses.
Well, one thing about sports and any athletes via team is the bounce back resilience that they have. So I'm looking forward, of course, to seeing then how Mamelodi Sundowns will bounce back after the defeat against Magesi. But you then look into Kaizer Chiefs. I mean, we do know that the Betway Premiership is also finally resuming this week, and they have a busy week ahead where they'll be hosting, well, they'll be playing rather, Richards Bay, and then also have to play Royal AM in the very same week. But Mahlatse Mphahlele, the difference between Kaizer Chiefs and all these other teams, right? Where some teams have had to release their players to.
Don't get me into trouble.
What do you mean? Don't get you into trouble. I'm not trying to get you into trouble, but we're speaking facts. You know,
Okay.
Some players had to play international duty. They were away. They were busy, right? While I guess they could say that they had some sort of a camp. In between the season, which is very good right now in terms of the building and helping, of course, Kaizer Chiefs to get the results that they want. Talk to us about the break that they've had and your expectations now this week for them.
So I see you're pushing me to use the R word.
What's the R word?
Now they've been resting.
They are well rested, eh?
Yeah, I don't know, well rested. But I mean, the coach has said it himself that there was almost a month break. It's really done well for them.
Yeah.
Obviously, the key thing for them going into the resumption of the league is that that Inocho guy, Miguel Inocho, is not available because of suspension. When he got a red card against Santos, I think. And he has to find a new central defensive partnership. I think maybe Tata Onri or
I'd love to see him.
We'll have to partner Rashun Dotli. That's the key decision that he has to make going forward. And also, there's been a number of players who have not been playing, Pule Modi, Ndoduzi, and a few others. And he says that they played a lot of friendlies, and those friendlies have given them an idea of these guys that he may not have had enough chance to see before the break. So I think not only him, most of the teams, breaks like this perhaps you players who are injured to recover.
That's what I'm hoping for SuperSport United.
Because they've had a lot of players who have been injured, Pratla being one of them.
Yeah.
They're key men up front. So most of the teams would have really helped them, but you will find a team that has been doing well before the break. When you stop, then the momentum goes down.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you are sitting. Some coaches would have hated it when it came to say, oh, we are on a roll. We just want to keep on playing. Even the players themselves. Players want to play all the time. Sometimes players get a little bit withdrawn when they just wake up in the morning, go to training, and there's no matches. And
for sure.
Players also are scared of getting injured at this.
Of course,
I guess this ABC teams that comes there, then they kick
come
everything. But also in those games, that's where you really have to go at it, because what you gain out of those friendly matches is what you need to give when there's syndrome. So yeah, it's for Chiefs. It's interesting. A mixed bag of a start of a season. They've really blown hot and cold.
I think they're going to be hot this time around. Hey,
well,
I really think
you
they're
saw
going to.
What was happening in the country when Chiefs were beating SuperSport 4. They were
Bruv, there was a buzz. The air was different in the country.
And I think not that they've got an entitlement to anything, but you still have to work for results. I think when Chiefs are okay, the whole country is okay. You can't deny that.
So they're holding the economy here, yeah?
we people love Chiefs. People love to see Chiefs do well, and it will be nice. Can you imagine a situation where you have got Sundowns, Pirates, Chiefs, maybe Stellenbosch, Supersport, or Skukunia, or somebody going for it? Last 5 matches, we don't know who's going to win. The Chiefs fans will make a record of this thing.
Of course.
They'll really go to town.
They're going to go sell out every stadium.
They'll fill the stadiums. And, so I hope that with the extended time that the coach has been there, they've really worked on stuff, and also the players need to come to the party. I think the club, the management, have done their best. They've recruited quite wisely. They've got some nice, very, very good players there. Totally, it's been a revelation for me. Phenomenal footballer. You even see Mamelodi Bafana. If you don't know him, you think he's been playing for Bafana for the last 10 years. This Miguel Inacio, the defender, solid defender, experienced national team player. Let's see how they resume. And then we'll see what happens. Richards Bay is not easy. Also a so-called small team with ambitions. It should be.
And Royal AM loves Kaizer Chiefs. They always literally rise to the occasion in the past. So this time around, I'm looking forward to
we'll
seeing.
See how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
We definitely will. But let's find out what then Coach Nabi has to say. This time around, no translator. He's speaking for himself, so he can't be misquoted. Let's find out what Coach Nabi has to say.
Fight for DNA for South African football profile to mix it with the necessity of modern football, what I needed, and I profit in this DNA. But attention, this DNA is not all positive. Maybe it's spectacular positive, but it's not realistic. Sometimes no efficiency. Sometimes my colleague, Mr. Hugo Bruce, his handstands, his profile, his work very hard to change a little, elite, and congratulations for his work, for his passion. Remember, it's not easy. The Mr. Hugo Bruce, it's not easy for him. The new season with Bafana, you are here. How many times you critique him hard? Huh? Now I think you are very, very, very happy, because the football, if you want to change, you need passions, you need handstand, and you need the passions, and you need respect. I know we need critique, is normal, but you need critique. But the critique is I don't talk positive critique, but realistic critique. The critique with the objective and with you need to critique the process. And don't critique what is it, why this player, his play, why you chose this one and not this one. This is for football 98 and 75. It's not for now. Why this play and another no play. Critique the model game, critique the smart. I return on your question now. I want to provide for the quality. I want to kill the bad points in DNA in South Africa, which pay points sometimes too much show and not efficiency. This is mentality. You need to change. You remember the game Uganda, Bafana, Uganda. After I think 1-0 or 2-0, the team without conscience, sans conscience, he's go to show, and he's go to show. He's lose the focus, and the team return. I don't know if it's Uganda game or I think Uganda game. Uganda game. Huh?
Yeah, it's called Uganda.
Yes, I think. This is you need it. For example, more realistic, more focused. If you need win 4-5, you need 4-5. 19 minutes, 200%. It's not you score 1 goal and 2 goals and now show. Come on, guys. It's not like that.
Well, looking forward, of course, to seeing then how Kaizer Chiefs will fare out, of course, this week and the rest of the league. But earlier on, we spoke about systems and changes, and we have to talk about the changes that, of course, Coach Rassie Erasmus has made with the Springboks this season. I mean, over 50 players changes. And when you look into the depth of the Springboks, it has been absolutely impeccable. I mean, you look into the positioning. In each position, I think there's 3 quality players there. So it's really been a great season. 2024, 11 wins out of the 13 tests. Mahlatse, you look into that, and of course, what Rassie has achieved with this box side. And I love the honesty though that he had at the beginning of the season with the players, saying that, hey, we will make changes, but it's a part of it. And to think that this year was just for transition and evolution and to prepare for 2027, but they've done so well.
Yeah, the Springboks is one team that you can put your last dollar on.
Yeah.
They always rock up. As you're talking about the number of changes and the players that got opportunities is all. I mean, if you can remember, we are on a new 4-year cycle now, and there's a lot of players in that team that I don't think they'll make it to the next World Cup, like Mapimpi and even Sia himself. I don't think he will get there. Maybe if he continues to play well. Some of the senior players that are there now, even if they get to the next World Cup, I don't think they will be starting players. So you need to have a good buffer underneath of younger players who will come through and make an impact. And we have seen that throughout the season, where in matches against Portugal and Wales and the so-called smaller international teams, where younger players got opportunities. Apele Fazi got opportunities. Sasha Mgomezulu got opportunities. And also they are also persisting with the fly half. He's somebody who has been around for a while. He's a little bit older, but in terms of numbers of games, he's not played enough. So they are doing that. They're very, very, very good season, near perfect. As you said, out of 13, they won 11. And that 11 includes beating New Zealand, Australia, Argentina, Ireland. So we beat the big teams. Everything that came in front of us, we beat. And the losses that we suffered against Ireland and Argentina were by 1 point. Which shows how close the matches were. Everywhere they played in the country, full house. Somebody was saying that match in Cape Town, it got sold within hours. And even if the match was at FNB with 90,000.
Mbobela as well, remember?
They could have sold out the match within a few hours and one more ticket. Maybe we just need to build 150,000 stadium for the Springboks.
That's for the Barcelona. That would be nice.
That would be nice, yeah. So, I've been very impressed. This is a team that is doing very well. I think it's about time now that the president must give Rassie the order of Ikamanga.
Please.
He deserves it. I think he has been an outstanding South African. Just looking at the way he has managed this team, first as a coach winning the World Cup, leaving the post, and Jack Nindaba coming through, and then he's working with Jack and they winning the World Cup again. Jack leaving and then he's sitting there, getting back, becoming a coach. It looks like we are
cruising nicely.
We're cruising nicely. We're on a right trajectory, building up to the next World Cup. And I wouldn't, put it past anybody. I think the Springboks will definitely be in the semi-final of the next World Cup, regardless of what happens between now and then.
And I completely agree with you. Now, when you look into that coaching team, right, you've got Tony Brown and Jerry Flannery, who are also, of course, part of now what we're seeing, the success of the Springboks, because now that's World Rugby coming together at the Boks camp. Because, I mean, Tony from New Zealand and Jerry from Ireland. So it shows the thinking, really, influencer in terms of getting different heads around the world to just come back. So we are, of course, continuing being world champions.
Yeah, and there also, with Bafana, every time we get a foreign coaches, people are complaining because people don't like, not that he's been xenophobic, but South Africans always want South Africans to coach South Africa. But we have a guy from New Zealand, for God's sake, who's part of the Frontiers coaching team. A guy from Ireland, these are rivalries. But I mean, sometimes you really need to, your base a little bit. And I mean, if you speak to the players, if you speak to the backs of the forwards and whatever, they always talk about the impact or the different thinking
Yes.
that these guys bring.
Yeah.
And also you must remember we play, I mean, sometimes in different hemispheres. The guy from New Zealand will come up with a different mentality. And also a guy from Ireland, though it's the same hemisphere, but will come with a different mentality as to how things happen in Europe. So it's been very good, and there's a good mix of South Africans there. John Davis is there.
Yeah.
Stokaloka, Mozambique Stick is there. So there's a nice mix of local and international coaches, which makes it very, very interesting. So it's a very, very well assembled side. As South Africans, we can't wait for next season. It's a pity now they're going to be off for the longest time, but
7 months to be precise.
when they come back, we will be ready. They will compete again.
Yeah.
You will know that we'll be competitive in the Rugby Championship. We'll be competitive in the Castle Lager incoming tour, regardless of who's coming here. And then when you go to the end of the year tour in Europe, we'll also be competitive. Give and take 13, 14 matches a season.
Yeah.
I see they're trying to increase more. They can give us more. This season they added Portugal, which was very important because then the so-called fringe players get opportunities to play, and we beat them. So I'm quite happy with what's happening there. Coach Ratsi for president.
Coach Ratsi for president. Before we wrap it up, influencer, you touch on a semi-final. Definitely one we can look forward to come the World Cup. But you look into, of course, then the nations as well that have been building, and New Zealand and France as well, where in the second half of the season, we've seen them in terms of attack very, very good. And their pace, we know New Zealand is always quite good with their pace and the skills on the wide. But talk to us in terms of as well, just the two other nations and really what they've been doing, and can they also now take the competition to the box?
Yeah, I think if you really look, England have been very, very poor. But I think they're just a team that's struggling with confidence. But you can't really discount them in a way. I think they will get better as time goes on. I know the coach is under a little bit of pressure from the English. They're also passionate people.
Yeah.
But if you look at France, a solid team, always competitive. You look at the All Blacks, the All Blacks will always be there. Yeah. It's one team that I think at any given day will give the Springboks a run for their money. You look at Ireland is a very good team also. Yeah. And the strange thing about Ireland is that they've got Jack Ninaba coaching in the league there. So there's always that fear that maybe it's giving them something about what we do in camp here. Yeah. Ireland is a very, very strong team. The Wallabies, you really never know what you'll get from the Wallabies. They always go up and down, and Argentina also up and there. The all runs. But going forward, I feel it will be the Springboks, it will be the All Blacks, Ireland, and France. Those are the top 4 teams which we'll be looking at for the next cycle of international matches next year. And I think we can't forget the fact that Peter Steph Tudoy was named the World Rugby Player of the Year.
The second time.
He's a guy who is very, very important to this team. Quiet guy. Attention always go to Sia, to Ieben, to the wingers, Cheslin, and other players. But he goes about his business very quietly. But he's very, very instrumental, a part of that second row for the Springboks. And he has said a little bit of history. He's the second man to South African to have won the thing twice. So good on him. But unfortunately, the guys are getting older now. We need younger locks to come through. But we've got stocks there. I'm not worried as to what will happen, whether injury or what. The other player who I felt, or players that I felt they've had good seasons, is Ieben. Very, very instrumental, and also one of the leaders in that team. When Sia is not available, he's always stepping up to become captain. Jesse Krill had a fantastic season. 2 years ago, that center partnership was Diamond Allende and Lucanio Am. Lucanio Am got injured, and then he got in there, and he never let go. So Lucanio Am is nowhere to be seen now. That just shows how important he has been for the team. But Lucanio, I'm sure he will come back, will get opportunities. And the other guy who I think he should have been a nominee for those awards is Oxenche.
Yes, but he made it to the dream team though. I took it to the dream team. I was like, that's fine.
He's a very, very destructive scrummager for us. when he's there, him and Bongi and the guys, we always have a chance in the scrums and that kind of thing. He's the guy who coined the phrase, Salahs don't win the scrums. Give me cake.
No, give me cake, bro.
So it's been a wonderful season. I see Bafana are learning from the Springboks. They are doing the things also Bafana. So it's all good. I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with what's happening here. So I'm looking forward to what will be happening next season. Yeah.
We definitely are looking forward to it, and that's how we wrap up the Arena Sports Show. It's been absolutely amazing. Just the two of us. It wasn't bad.
You forgot to sing that song, just the two of us.
We can
I don't have a voice.
Try. But you tried, I'll take that.
Okay.
But thank you so much for joining
good.
us.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon. Cheers. Goodbye.
Ciao.